10 years ago when the man arrived outside the company, a boy shining shoes spotted him immediately. He ran over eagerly and pitched his service with a serious face, saying just $3 would make the shoes shine like new. But the man told him, "You can't rely on a rag and low prices to keep customers. Shoe shining is all about craftsmanship." When he found out the boy had skill but lacked startup money, the man was touched by his honesty, so he casually gave him $100 to start his business, and said he'd come back the next day to check the results. The boy agreed without hesitation, unaware that this small act of kindness would completely change his future. A whole day passed. The boy waited in the same spot with his new toolkit. Even after night fell, the man never returned. The boy clenched his fists and swore to himself he would find that man no matter what. 10 years later, the once successful man was being laid off. Outside his office, a crowd of cold-faced employees gathered. The HR assistant told him to stay calm, saying he was a technical pillar of the company. His wife was the CEO, and even the VP was trained by him. He picked up his phone to call his wife, but just then, his apprentice and wife walked in. They had completely changed, and declared he was just an ordinary employee now, so he was being fired on the spot. Then his wife threw divorce papers in his face. Only then did the man realize he had once promoted the apprentice, put him in the VP seat, and handed the company over to his wife. While he stayed behind the scenes working on technology, he never thought they would both betray him so heartlessly. Crushed by what he saw, he tried to win over the old employees, but found they had all chosen to stand behind his wife. His eyes widened in disbelief. The employees told him to leave alone, saying they didn't want to be dragged down with him. The man was so furious, he coughed up blood on the spot. Before he could recover, several employees rushed in and forced his fingerprint onto the divorce papers. The next second, he was thrown out of the company. Just then he received a call from the hospital. His daughter was in critical condition, and the surgery would cost $2 million. With nowhere else to turn, he went to an old friend for help. He respectfully served him a cup of tea, but the friend pretended to drop it, then acted like it was just an accident. The man quietly cleaned up the broken pieces and swallowed the humiliation. He then asked to borrow some money, but was told he had to kneel first. The man was stunned. He explained he needed the money to save his daughter, and promised to repay it in 2 months. But the friend sneered, saying the man used to mock him and call him a failure, and now had the nerve to come asking for money. Realizing his old friend had misunderstood, he quickly tried to explain, but the friend gave a sinister smile, and said he would lend the money, only if the man knelt and kowtowed. Meanwhile, the boy the man had helped 10 years ago, had become a billionaire tycoon. He had just returned from overseas, only to find the man who once gave him a chance. Back at the company, the so-called friend had one more surprise. He called in the man's wife and apprentice, and shamelessly declared in front of him that their future child would call him Godfather. Only then did the man realize everything had been part of the friend's scheme, and to make it worse, he demanded the man hand over his patent. Just then, the boy who had been searching for him arrived outside the company building.